The story starts with the main character, Rude, talking about how adventurers have different roles in their party. He calls himself the tank and says that the tank's job is to take all the hits from enemies and protect his harem. He believes this role is essential but often goes unnoticed, and he's here to tell the tale of how he became the main character. Then we see Rude daydreaming about his younger sister, Manisha. He's so obsessed with her that it's creepy. His teammate, Neen, calls him out for making weird faces at the guild. Rude says sorry, but Neen figures he's probably fantasizing about his sister again. Rude wonders how she knows, and Neen basically says she's known him long enough to recognize his weird sister obsession. Neen comments on Rude's strong affection for his sister and suggests he show interest in something else for a change. Rude asks what else he should be interested in, and Neen suggests romance. Rude quickly dismisses the idea, saying no one is cuter than his sister, Manisha. Neen insists she's serious, but Rude explains he doesn't have time for anything else right now. He reveals that Manisha has an incurable disease, and his only hope is to find the secret treasure of the labyrinth, rumored to grant any wish. However, he feels it's impossible, especially after his recent embarrassing performance. Neen encourages Rude not to be so hard on himself, reminding him that he did his job as a tank during their recent dungeon dive. She points out that he didn't even get hit and mentions his remarkable Absorb shield, which has a value of $99.99, the highest ever seen. She praises Rude as an exceptional tank and assures him that his efforts are greatly appreciated by the party. A guy named Kiglas shows up at the guild, and it surprises everyone because he's a famous hero. Kiglas talks to Neen and Rude, and we find out they're in the same party. Neen greets the twins, Lilia and Lily, and Kiglas introduces two new members to Rude and Neen. Neen mentions that the rules of the labyrinth only allow parties with up to 6 members, but now they're a party of 7 with the new additions. Kiglas says they'll be back to 6 soon and kicks Rude out of the party. Rude's wondering why, and Kiglas tells him he's a useless tank. Kiglas says that Rude's shield lost power way too quickly yesterday, and that's why he's getting the boot. Neen explains that Rude was doing his job by blocking enemy attacks, but his shield was still losing power, and they don't know why. Kiglas thinks it's because Rude's skills are messing with his shield, especially his 2 skills with unknown effect. Neen admits that not all skills are good, but they're not sure if that's the real problem. Kiglas says they could have died because of Rude's issues, so he's out. He introduces the new members as evasion tanks who can dodge enemy attacks while fighting, unlike Rude, who can only defend. Rude decides to accept being kicked out and tries to leave, but Kiglas stops him. Kiglas tells Rude they're not done talking, and he takes Rude's sword as compensation for their lack of profit yesterday. Kiglas leaves, and Lilia tells Rude she knows he's competent and wishes him luck before leaving too. Neen holds onto Rude and apologizes for not being able to help him live up to her expectations when she invited him to join her party. Rude apologizes back, and Neen asks if this is really goodbye. Rude explains that he and his sister live in Avansha and invites her to visit them sometime. He won't always be home, but he plans to live with his sister from now on. He looks forward to seeing her again and wonders what to do next. He realizes he can't go back to Avansha just yet and wonders if Kiglas was right about his unknown skills draining his shield without him knowing. He thinks that would be a terrible skill to have and wishes someone could use their Identify skill to figure it out, but those skills are super rare. Then he overhears a group of D-rank adventurers talking about an escort mission to Karas, which is close to Avansha. Rude asks if he can join them on that job, and they want to know his adventurer rank. Rude suddenly remembers that he's still an F-rank adventurer because he spent all his time in the labyrinth, and he's hesitant to admit his low rank. However, one of the girls in the party recognizes him from the hero's party. They agree to let him join them after hearing this, and Rude tries to tell them his rank, but the merchant they are supposed to escort arrives. The party members inform the merchant that they've gained a new member, and the merchant says it's okay but won't increase their pay. They set out on their journey, and Rude regrets missing the chance to reveal his rank. He feels like he's deceived them, but there's nothing he can do about it now. As they travel, the party faces many challenges along the way. After a few days, they are almost at their destination, Karas, but a thick fog surrounds them. The merchant suggests stopping for the night, but Rude feels something is wrong. He believes they should continue to Karas since they're close and can watch out for ambushes. Rude halts the wagon when he senses something ahead, and the others ask if it's a monster. Rude mentions it could also be bandits and goes to investigate. He spots a shadowy figure, and as the fog clears, he sees it's a scared little girl. Noticing that no one else is around, he doesn't think it's a trap. He approaches the girl and assures her he won't harm her. He notices a gem around her chest. A forest snake appears, and Rude tells the girl to hide. The adventurers believe they can't defeat such a monster, and the snake attempts to attack them. Rude uses his provoke skill to get the snake's attention. The snake attacks him with poison, but Rude manages to block it with his shield. The next attack hits him, but Rude is determined not to die here, as it would make his sister sad. He asks the adventurers to grab their weapons and fight, emphasizing the need to work together. Rude promises to block all of the snake's attacks and urges them to trust in their strength. This inspires the adventurers, and they attack the snake. The snake prepares for a deadly strike, but Rude manages to block it, and together they defeat the snake. The adventurers credit Rude's help for their success, and they are pleased with their accomplishment. Rude tells the adventurers that they won because they performed well and suggests they start carving up the defeated monster. Meanwhile, he goes to check on the girl. Rude asks her if she's injured and if she has a place to go. The girl says she doesn't have anywhere to go, and Rude invites her to come with him. He explains that he's headed to Avansha, and she agrees to accompany him. Rude realizes she can't continue traveling dressed as she is. The merchant kindly gives the girl a dress as a thank you gift for saving him. Rude asks her to change into it, and the merchant wonders if she's a slave. Rude speculates that she might be a homunculus, beings that serve humans as slaves. However, they usually don't travel alone. Rude explains that she must have special circumstances, pointing out that slave traders wouldn't venture deep into a dangerous forest like this one. Moreover, she wasn't wearing a slave collar. Rude decides to look after her for now. The scene shifts to Rude bidding farewell to the adventurers after completing his escort job. They try to recruit him into their party, but he declines, saying he needs to find the secret treasure. The adventurers mention that the secret treasure can grant any wish and create homunculi. They express their dislike for homunculi, describing them as emotionless and dispassionate workers. Rude notices that their conversation upsets the girl he rescued and intervenes. Later on, while traveling, Rude realizes they haven't introduced themselves and asks the girl for her name. She reveals she doesn't have one, so Rude decides to name her Luna, and she likes the name. The scene shifts again to the two of them having dinner in the forest. Rude mentions that they should reach Avansha the next day, so they should get some rest. He cleans up the dishes, and Luna notices some monsters approaching. She manages to easily defeat them. Rude is surprised by Luna's abilities and believes she might be an illegally created homunculus. Unlike other homunculi, Luna possesses willpower and emotions, and she's capable of fighting. Normally, illegally created homunculi are disposed of, but Rude can't abandon her, as her frightened expression reminds him of his sister, Manisha. Luna apologizes for breaking Rude's pot, and he reassures her that it's not a problem. He wonders why Luna didn't defeat the forest snake if she's so strong. Luna explains that she's skilled in magic but lacks melee combat skills. Rude asks if she has any magic skills, and Luna mentions having a skill that enhances magic, as well as the Identify skill. Rude is surprised to hear about Luna's rare Identify skill. He tells her that it's so uncommon that only one other person in the neighboring kingdom possessed it, and they recently passed away. Now, Luna is the only one with this skill, and Rude asks if she can use it to identify his skills. Luna agrees and touches Rude to identify his skills. She reveals that he has 4 skills. The first is a skill called Healthy Body, which makes him immune to status effects and enhances his natural healing. The second is Provoke, which allows him to draw an enemy's attention towards himself. Then there's Life Conversion, enabling him to convert his depleted Absorb Shield into strength. Rude thinks that Life Conversion must be an offensive skill, and realizes that some skills can only be activated if he understands them. Luna mentions the 4th skill, Shield of Sacrifice, which allows Rude to treat the absorbed shield of his allies as his own and increases the toughness of both him and his ally. Rude comes to understand that his absorbed shield was depleting because he was unknowingly taking damage for his party members. He's amazed that the problem of his unknown skills has been resolved so easily and expresses his gratitude to Luna. The next day, they arrive in Avansha, and Rude realizes that he was kicked out of his party due to his skills' unknown effects. However, he now knows he possesses ultimate skills to protect his allies, and he can return with his head held high. Rudd and Luna arrive at the serene town of Avansir, welcomed warmly by the locals, Milner and Phil. Milner rushes to Rudd and clings to him. Phil, more composed, gently separates them. They share a bit about their day. Milner's been out getting tools for work, while Phil has been patrolling the town. Phil updates Rudd on his sister's well-being, reassuring him that she's fine. Rudd expresses gratitude, acknowledging that his adventures are possible because of the support from folks like Phil who look after his sister. Curiosity piqued, Milner inquires about Luna, who stands quietly behind Rudd. Rudd explains he met Luna during his travels, and, finding her without a home, offered her a place to stay temporarily. Milner and Phil warmly greet Luna, welcoming her to their community. Heading home, Rudd and Luna try to be quiet, not wanting to disturb Rudd's sister, who they assume is asleep. However, they're greeted by the delightful smell of freshly prepared food, Rudd's favorite tomato dish. Manisha, Rudd's sister, emerges to welcome them, her hair animatedly reflecting her emotions. Manisha is curious about Luna, and Rudd introduces her, explaining how she joined him. Reuniting with his sister after a long time, Rudd is struck by her unchanged charm and cuteness. Manisha warmly invites Luna to their home and ushers them to the dining table for the meal. In the kitchen, Manisha puts on her apron to prepare an extra portion of the dish. Despite Rudd's concern for her frail health, she insists she's feeling fine. Rudd offers to help her in the kitchen, and she gladly accepts. Luna, intrigued by Manisha's unique hair movements, learns from Rudd that it's a special ability, revealing Manisha's mood. Rudd playfully asks if her hair predicted his return, to which Manisha responds it's not that simple. Rudd expresses his happiness and appreciation for her cooking his favorite dish, feeling a deep sense of homecoming. Manisha starts cutting tomatoes in the kitchen when she asks Rudd for some help. Together, they finish cooking and set the table for a meal. As they start eating, Luna, another character, struggles to use a spoon correctly. Manisha notices this and points it out, but Luna apologizes, explaining she's not used to using spoons. Luna shares a memory of trying to use a spoon while she was with some lost children in the forest, but it was a challenge for her. She apologizes to Manisha again, but Manisha is kind and shows her how to hold the spoon properly, offering to teach her step by step. Luna is grateful for the help. Over time, Rudd and Luna also teach Manisha various skills like reading, cooking, and cleaning. Eventually, Manisha gets so good at these things that one day she surprises Rudd and Manisha by preparing breakfast all by herself. They're both impressed with the meal and how quickly Manisha learned these basic skills. Rudd wonders if Manisha's fast learning is because she's a homunculus, a unique being. After breakfast, since the weather is nice, Manisha suggests that Rudd should take Luna around the town to introduce her to the local. Luna is nervous about meeting new people, but Manisha decides to help her by lending her some clothes. Manisha picks out a beautiful blue gown for Luna and offers to help her get dressed for their day out in the town. Luna receives a gown from Manisha but decides to dress up by herself. She quickly goes to her room and closes the door. Manisha wonders if she upset Luna, but Rudd knows the real reason. Luna didn't want Manisha to see her magic stone. Rudd then takes Luna on a tour around the town. He explains that the town is small, with no church or adventurers guild, just a blacksmith and a pharmacy. The most notable place in town is the orchard. While they are walking, they meet Rajil, Milna's father. Rudd introduces Luna to him, and Rajil warmly welcomes her to the town. Rudd mentions to Rajil that he lost his magic sword and asks for help in making a new one. Rajil promises to create a super sword for him quickly, especially since Rudd requested it. He plans to get help from his daughter to speed up the process. Rudd agrees to come back for the sword later. Rajil suggests they visit the green magic garden before leaving. In the garden, Rudd shows Luna the magic vegetables that grow there. These vegetables are special because they're grown with magic, so they can be harvested any time of year and are very nutritious. While they're in the garden, some kids approach Rudd and tease him about having a girlfriend. Rudd clarifies that Luna is just a companion, not his girlfriend, but the kids keep teasing him, saying he probably can't get a girlfriend because he's too attached to his sister. Rudd is curious about who taught them such things, and the kids mention Phil. Suddenly, Granny Jiggy calls the kids back to the garden. This scene triggers a memory for Luna of her past life as a slave. She recalls the harsh sound of a whip hitting another slave, which brings back fearful and dreadful feelings. Rudd and Luna are in the town when they meet Granny Jiggy, the town's pharmacist. Rudd compliments her health, and Granny Jiggy thanks him. She notices Luna lost in her thoughts and asks Rudd if Luna is his girlfriend. Rudd introduces Luna to Granny Jiggy, explaining she's not his girlfriend but a friend. Granny Jiggy has been making medicines for Manisha, trying to help with her illness. Granny Jiggy says Luna reminds her of a young Manisha. She expresses her wish to do more for Manisha, as medicines can't cure the root of her illness. Rudd appreciates Granny Jiggy's efforts, saying she's already done a lot. Granny Jiggy invites Luna to visit her pharmacy anytime and offers to teach her how to harvest magic vegetables in the garden. Meanwhile, some adventurers tease Rudd about having a girlfriend and overcoming his sister complex. Granny Jiggy takes Luna to the magic field, where Luna enjoys harvesting vegetables and fills a basket. On their way home, Rudd apologizes to Luna for the town gossip. He compliments Luna, calling her cute, which surprises her. To ease the tension, Rudd suggests trying the magic vegetables they picked. Luna finds them delicious, and Rudd shares his fondness for Avansir, the small and quiet town. Luna says she likes the town and the kind people, and she'd be happy to stay there forever. Suddenly, Luna asks Rudd to feel her chest, where he feels a magic stone. She reveals her secret, showing him the stone and confessing she's a combat-type homunculus, not human. She fears being destroyed if people discover her true identity. Luna cries, feeling guilty for deceiving Rudd after all his help. Rudd confesses he already knew she was a homunculus, but wanted to help her, reminded of his sister Manisha's struggles in the slums. Rudd asks Luna if she wants to live as a homunculus or as a human. She believes living as a human is just wishful thinking for a homunculus. Rudd disagrees, saying there's no rule against homunculi living as humans. He shares his goal of finding a treasure in labyrinths to cure Manisha's illness and suggests that their shared unattainable goals make them great friends. Rudd extends his hand to Luna. Reflecting on her experiences and the people in Avenir, she decides she can live as a human by Rudd's side. After a day out, Luna and Rudd return home. Luna feels it's important to share something with Manisha, Rudd's sister. She's worried about keeping secrets from those she cares about. With Rudd's encouragement, Luna reveals to Manisha that she's a homunculus and apologizes for hiding this fact. Manisha, however, is understanding and asks if Luna would like to be friends, leading to a heartfelt hug between them. Luna admires Rudd for his kindness and willingness to help others, regardless of who they are or how they look. The next day, Rudd, Manisha, and other townsfolk gather to clean a local estate. After the work is done, Manisha makes tea for everyone. A rush ensues as everyone wants to be the first to try her tea, and Rudd manages to be the first one to drink it. He compliments Manisha's tea, which leads to Phil teasing him about his sister complex. Rudd checks on Manisha to see how she's feeling after the cleanup. Manisha insists she's fine and doesn't want to be a burden to Rudd, despite her frailty. Rudd reassures her that she's never a burden to him. Later, Rudd is asked for a sparring session by a friend. Before they begin, Rudd decides to spar with Phil, the vice leader of the Vigilante Corps. As they fight, it becomes clear that Phil has grown stronger. Rudd and Phil's duel becomes intense, with Rudd noticing Phil's improved skills. Luna and Manisha watch the duel, with Luna commenting on Phil's strength. Manisha explains that Phil and Rudd, unlike other Vigilante Corps members, have had opportunities to strengthen their skills by traveling to other towns. During the spar, Rudd is momentarily distracted by the cheering crowd, allowing Phil to take advantage. However, Rudd manages to use Phil's attack against her, eventually knocking her down with a powerful counterattack. The onlookers are amazed, wondering if Rudd has learned a new attack skill. After the duel, Phil acknowledges Rudd's strength and asks about the skill he used. Rudd reveals it's called Life Conversion, which allows him to turn defensive power into offensive strength. This new skill marks a significant change for Rudd, who had previously focused solely on defense. The other vigilantes are intimidated by Rudd's display of power and decide not to challenge him. Luna, impressed by Rudd, talks to Manisha about Rudd's incredible abilities. Manisha recalls her own past, particularly a moment when she felt abandoned but was rescued by Rudd. She then realizes that it was all a dream. In her contemplative state, Manisha wonders if Rudd is truly happy. She thinks about how Rudd's life could be freer if he didn't have to take care of her due to her illness. The next day, Rudd wishes Manisha a good morning, but Manisha seems a bit off as she serves breakfast. Just then, Luna arrives, apologizing for being late with breakfast, only to find that Manisha has already prepared it. Manisha teases Luna for not being a morning person, leaving Luna feeling embarrassed about her shortcomings. Rudd tells Luna not to worry about it, emphasizing that they should support each other. Luna feels guilty, believing she isn't contributing much, but Rudd reassures her that's not the case. Luna admits that Rudd has significantly changed her life for the better by teaching her various things. Curious, Luna asks Rudd and Manisha where they learned so much. Rudd explains their knowledge came from an apprenticeship, a master-student relationship, and shares that as children, a noble initiative allowed them to escape the slums through education at a night school. This conversation triggers Manisha's memories of night school, particularly how her brother was a standout student expected to become a knight. However, she overhears some girls saying her brother chose to become an adventurer to cure her illness, a decision they deemed a waste of his potential. Manisha feels guilty, thinking she limited her brother's options in life. Luna visits Manisha, sensing her sadness. When Manisha wonders how Luna would feel knowing someone sacrificed their dreams for her, Luna isn't sure but suggests such a choice might make the person happy. Realizing they are talking about Rudd, Luna encourages Manisha to discuss her feelings with him, noting Rudd's unusual perspective as someone who saved Luna, an illegal homunculus. Manisha struggles with how to relate to her brother, fearing too much dependence might burden him, despite her desire to show kindness. Conflicted about what to do, Manisha learns Rudd is returning home soon and wonders how to express her complex feelings to him. Luna encourages Manisha to speak to her brother, explaining that the only way to understand each other is through conversation. Taking this advice, Manisha approaches Rudd, wanting to discuss her concerns. She admits to being scared, especially at the thought that Rudd might regret saving her. With Luna's moral support, Manisha bravely asks Rudd if he's truly content with his life. Rudd's affirmative answer surprises her. Curious, she asks why he saved her when she was left alone. Rude explains it was because Manisha had a profound impact on him. Unlike others who were intimidated by his size and stern appearance, Manisha never showed fear towards him, which brought him joy. Rude confesses he had his doubts about their life together, but he firmly believes he made the right decision. He cherishes the moments they spend together, saying he's happiest in her company. Moved to tears by his words, Manisha reveals her fear that her presence might be a source of unhappiness for him. She admits her uncertainty about how to behave around him, prompting Rude to apologize for his own lack of social skills. In a heartfelt moment, Manisha hugs Rude, regretting her earlier doubts and acknowledging that she understands him better than anyone. Rude reassures her that everything is okay and expresses his gratitude towards Luna for helping them communicate. Luna modestly denies playing a significant role, but Manisha thanks her, too. Pleased, Luna heads off to make lunch. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and Rude opens it to find Neen waiting outside. She explains she's come to visit Rude during her time off, adding an unexpected twist to their day. Rude is shocked to hear that Neen got time off, especially since it wasn't Kigley's who arranged it but the church. Neen reveals she's no longer part of the heroes' party because, after Rude left, they struggled and failed in their missions, leading to the group's disbandment. She shares a story about a raid gone wrong, where they faced a monster they couldn't even scratch. Keglis, puzzled by his rapidly depleting absorb shield, began to realize their failures might be connected to Rude's absence. Despite using his powerful life burst skill, which drained a significant portion of his shield, Keglis refused to believe Rude was the glue holding the team together. Yet, as more monsters appeared and overwhelmed them, his denial only deepened their crisis. Ignoring his team's advice to retreat, Keglis attempted another life burst, only to find he lacked the necessary shield points. A monster's attack then breached his defense, causing him real pain and injury for the first time in a while. Lilia had to rescue him using her dungeon walk spell to escape, after which an injured Keglis unfairly blamed his team for their failure. Neen confronted him, pointing out his reckless behavior, lack of training, and over-reliance on drinking and his life burst skill. She argued that their past success was largely due to Rude's presence, who somehow managed to make Keglis' skill more effective by bearing the cost himself. Neen explained that Rude's unique ability likely allowed him to share or take on others' absorb shield costs, which made Keglis appear stronger than he was. This revelation underscored Rude's critical role in the team and highlighted how his departure exposed the weaknesses they had ignored. Kigley stubbornly claimed that losing just one member shouldn't have caused so much trouble. However, Neen decided she had enough and announced she was leaving the party. Following her lead, Lilia, Lily, and the rest of the team also left. Kigley's insisted he would recover and prove he was the true hero, marking the end of their group. Rude felt bad hearing this, apologizing for any trouble caused by his departure, and admitting he only recently discovered his unique abilities. Neen said they were to blame for not realizing Rude was absorbing damage on their behalf, and she too expressed regret for not noticing sooner. Agreeing to move past the issue, Neen then met Luna and Manisha, telling them she'd be staying in the area to visit the orchard among other things. Wondering where she'd stay without a local inn, Manisha offered Neen to stay with them. Rude quietly informed Manisha that Neen, being a duke's daughter and a saint, might expect certain standards. Neen overheard and insisted she'd be fine without special treatment. Rude showed her to his room, suggesting she could use it while he slept in the living room. Neen, however, playfully suggested sharing the room, surprising Rude with her seriousness. Phil arrives at Rude's place with news about a strange monster wreaking havoc in the orchard. Rude rushes over and sees the widespread destruction. The monster, shrouded in a dark mist, makes it hard for him to tell if it's a tiger, then uses her magic to clear the mist, revealing a creature unlike any they've seen before, its magic essence overwhelming its natural instincts. Suddenly, a soldier lunges at the monster but gets thrown aside. This soldier is Vilwilda, Phil's father. When the monster goes for a second attack, Rude diverts its attention with his provoke skill and calls for continuous healing spells from the spellcasters. Understanding his plan, Rude faces the monster's assault, urging the soldiers to attack while he distracts it. Despite their efforts, the monster proves too strong, but Rude absorbs the blows meant for them, with Luna and Neen quickly healing him. Encouraged by Rude's Shield of Sacrifice skill, which allows him to take on the damage directed at their shields, the soldiers gain confidence and manage to injure the monster. As the monster tries to flee towards the town, Luna traps it with her earth magic. Rude then unleashes a powerful life conversion skill, fueled by the damage he's absorbed, and defeats the monster. However, he worries he might have caused more destruction than the monster itself. Will, one of the soldiers, expresses his gratitude, highlighting that Rude's actions prevented any casualty. Rude assesses the monster, suspecting it to be a C-rank black wolf with the strength of an A rank due to its 2 magic stones, a rarity since magical beasts typically have just one. Luna observes that the stones are similar to those used in creating homunculi, leading Nin to speculate that someone might have implanted the stone into the monster, using homunculi technology for experimentation. She notes the illegality of creating combat homunculi, but Rude acknowledges that the taboo hasn't curbed curiosity in the dark art. Nin agrees, suggesting that there might be a larger scheme at play. Rude decides they should inform the local lord about their finding, hinting that this incident with the dual stone beast might be a precursor to more ominous events. This brings an end to our episode. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more anime recaps.